So, you found the house, your spouse is on board, your buddy wants to go in on it with you, or your parents want to help. But now, somebody's telling you that the process is more complicated because you're using a VA loan. But here's the thing, it is a little bit more complicated, but not in the way that most people think. The rules are actually fairly clear once somebody explains them to you the right way. So, we're going to do that right now. Today, we're covering joint VA loans, who can be on the loan with you, how the math changes depending on who that person is, and what the VA actually guarantees when more than one borrower is in the picture. By the end of today's video, you'll know exactly how to structure this deal and which combinations work cleanly versus which ones are going to cost you a little bit extra money. So let's just start off with the basics. Who can be a co-borrower on a VA loan? Well, the VA actually breaks co-borrower situations into one of three buckets, and they're not all treated the same way. Bucket number one is a veteran and their spouse. This is the cleanest scenario of them all because the VA treats a married co-borrowing spouse as a full participant. Their income counts, their debt counts, and the VA's guarantee is applied to the full loan. It's the standard process and really no extra frictions added. Bucket number two is two veterans using their entitlement together. This is also allowed. Both veterans put their entitlement on the line, and the guarantee calculation gets split up between the two of their entitlements. The benefit here is that two income streams are in play. However, the catch is that if one person's entitlement is tied up in another property, the math may get tighter, but we'll come back to that later on in the video. And bucket number three, a veteran and a non-veteran who is not a spouse. This is where people run into walls. The VA will allow it, but only a portion of the loan receives the VA guarantee, specifically the veteran's share of that loan. The non-veteran share is considered a conventional portion and typically requires a down payment to cover that piece. This is not a rumor or a lender trying to be difficult, it's just how the program is structured. So now you're probably wondering how the math works. Let's make it real with a simple example. Say a veteran and a non-veteran friend are buying a $400,000 home together, 50-50 equity share. The VA will guarantee the veteran's $200,000 share, but the non-veteran's $200,000 share needs to be covered by the conventional route, which usually means that there's going to be a down payment required on their portion of the loan. So the zero down benefit is not going to extend to the full loan, but it will still extend to the veteran's piece of the pie. Now, compare that to a veteran and veteran scenario. Both borrowers have entitlement. And if both put their entitlement in, the full loan can receive the guarantee and zero down applies to the entire thing, assuming that there's enough combined entitlement to cover it. This is why the co-borrower question is never just a paperwork question. It's a financial structure question. Now let's get into income and debt and what actually counts when you're embarking upon a joint VA loan. So if you have a spouse co-borrower, it's pretty simple. Their income counts in full, their debts count in full, and the residual income calculation folds them in. Everything goes on the same scale as the veteran. Now, the veteran co-borrower, it's the same deal. Full income, full debt, full residual income. But with non-spouse and or non-veteran co-borrowers, their income can be counted, but here's where lenders and underwriters will look more carefully. Since the VA loan's guarantee does not cover that co-borrower's share of the loan, the lender has more exposure or risk. Expect stricter scrutiny on that person's credit, their debts, and their income stability. The loan can still close, but it's not going to sail through the same way a spousal or veteran-to-veteran deal would. And here's a thing that a lot of people never think to ask. A co-borrower is not a co-signer. A co-signer out in the regular lending world like automotive or personal loans can help somebody qualify without taking title or ownership of the property that's being financed. However, on a VA loan, co-borrowers are on the loan and typically required to be on title as well. And that can have different legal and financial implications that go well beyond this video. So get that sorted out with your attorney if it applies to you. My job is the loan. I'm not a legal professional, so find somebody who is. Now, watch out for lenders who oversimplify this topic, because you're going to run into people who say a non-veteran simply cannot be on a VA loan, and that's not accurate. What they probably mean is that it's more complex and they just don't want to deal with it or they don't know how. And those are two very different things, because you as a veteran deserve a lender who knows the difference. So you might be asking yourself, well, what if I've already used entitlement before? If you're teaming up with another veteran and one of you guys has used entitlement on a previous property, remaining entitlement is what's going to go onto this loan. As long as the combined remaining entitlement from both veterans covers 25% of the loan, you can still go zero down on the whole thing. Now, if it doesn't cover the full 25%, the gap is going to have to be bridged with a down payment on that veteran's portion of the loan. It's not a deal breaker, but it's a number that you need to know going into the process, not a number you find out at the closing table. So if you haven't seen the video on entitlement in this VA Loan Masterclass series yet, I cover the full versus partial entitlement in detail. So go back, watch it, and let me know what you think. So here's how I want you to leave today's video. If you're buying with your spouse, the process is clean. Move forward with confidence. Now, if you're buying with another veteran, get both COEs pulled early on, check remaining entitlement on both sides, and make sure that you both understand that you're both on the hook for this loan. And if you're buying with a non-veteran who isn't your spouse, maybe they're a sibling, a parent, or a business partner, that deal can still work. However, it needs to be structured carefully from the start. And you need a VA experienced lender who actually knows this program. That's the kind of thing that I do every single day. So if you want to talk through how your specific situation stacks up, the link is in the description. Drop me a comment below telling me who you're thinking about trying to buy a house with using your VA loan. Because I see veterans trying to navigate this with all kinds of different co-borrower setups, and I want to know what situation you're in. I'm William Ware, the Loan Caddy. Play smart, and I'll see you on the next tee.